It looks like it worked. I am super stoked because today, this is the first Zack Miller Live with a guest. It's going to be super amazing. We got Jake Maines of Array Digital. He'll be on in just a moment. But we're going to be talking about Marketing 101. We're going to be talking about the things that you guys are looking for answers for. We're looking at SEO, content generation, headline generation, and all the things that are involved in making you be seen. So I hope this is something that is important to you and that we can help you. And in just a couple moments, we're going to bring on, I'm the Zack Miller, so I have the Jake Maines. He is the digital marketing manager over at Array Digital. He's an all-around good guy. We just had him on the show, on the 1004 show, a recording that will be out later. But it was so good, we had to bring it to Zack Miller Live. This is Zack Miller Live, episode number 9. Things are getting hot and heavy. You guys saw the Kickstarter was announced yesterday. The book was announced yesterday for all of you guys that played along and were with me. I still have my voice. I was on for 4+ hours, and honestly, it was like the greatest 4 hours of my life on that Facebook page, at least. I mean, I can't say that it's like the greatest thing in my life. So if you guys have questions, if you guys are going to have marketing questions, if you guys have SEO and branding questions on how to be seen, right? We would love to answer those questions because that's what we do here. We answer your questions. Pam Smith, how are you? I love it. You know what? I have a hashtag called Hustle City. Why don't we just start something called Stalking City? That would be wrong. We shouldn't do that. But I did, for those of you who have been watching, Pam and I finally did catch up. We did finally get to have a conversation. I'm glad she's doing well. But I'm excited that you guys are here because this is going to be a lot of fun. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring on the first ever guest on Zack Miller Live. He is the digital marketing manager over at Array Digital. You guys can learn about Array Digital at thisisarray.com and ask any questions that you have about your website, content, SEO, ads, whatever it might be. Simply just put them in the comments below, and Jake or myself will comment. So, Jake is in the green room right now. Actually, he's just in his office, but we're going to bring Jake on. Jake, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Zach? It's great to be the first guest on your show. This is awesome.
I see that you dressed up for it. I really appreciate it.
Got snazzy.
Tell me about you. Who are you?
So, I went to Old Dominion University, and now I stayed for the beach. I live in Town Center and work at Array Digital, as you mentioned. So I manage all of our marketing clients here. I love helping.
What's something that someone who comes to you and has the challenge with their business or their brand to be seen, how do you kind of first bring them in to kind of understand what they're doing?
So we'll do a kickoff meeting, kind of figure out what their issue is that they're facing, is that they're not getting enough leads. So we'll start by helping them to build they build a new website and they support those sites, and then they kind of pass them on to me, where I help to drive traffic to the site and generate leads.
How important is goal setting in this whole process? So I think often, people want more, but they don't even have a goal associated with that, or they don't even know kind of where to think about what their website could be doing. And we were talking earlier, and you said, you really need to use your website as a tool or an asset. Tell me what you think about that.
The first thing to do with your website is add Google Analytics tracking code to it. so that you can be able to tell where traffic is coming from, how much traffic, which traffic is converting, and how much of it is converting. That way you can your content, if the content isn't keeping people on the page and people are leaving right as soon as they need to write those leads.
When should someone call an expert?
When you, I'm all about people trying things themselves and being self-learners, but if you're feeling overwhelmed and your business isn't taking off the way you want it to, then there's a difference between the websites that you can build yourself and the websites that the experts here at some of the other companies can build.
What's a question that you get asked a lot?
One of the questions that I recently turned into a blog post was, what are the best social media platforms for my business? And it varies based on your business. So, I answered that question with 5 of the most popular social media platforms. And
what were they?
Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and maybe one other. But I did a kind of a deep dive into the benefits and cons of each one.
I think one of the strategies that I like, and I actually use this as well, is the FAQ strategy. So you meet with someone and they come to your website and they basically, in your contact us or eating coffee or networking or from an email or whatever, they're basically asking you the same question. Everyone is asking the same question over and over again. So what do you think that you should do if that happens for business?
So for any question that's asked of our company and my clients, I suggest taking that question and turning it into a blog post, because that question, there's tons of other people that are going to Google and searching for the answer to that question. So by optimizing for Google search, you can start to generate traffic to your website, keyword or frequently asked question.
What's a keyword?
So I guess it's a word or a phrase that people are searching on, Google or other search engines. Use those phrases in our headlines and throughout our content to optimize so that people that are searching for that phrase will find your article.
How do you know what kind of keyword that you should be using or leveraging?
There's tools that we use that we can research if you type that phrase into Google and you see that there's a ton of articles related to that keyword, then you might want to adjust the phrase, and then you'll also take that phrase and plug it into Google AdWords keyword planner tool, and you can see how much search volume could potentially come by ranking first for that keyword.
So it sounds like a lot of these things are tough and challenging for someone, or things that someone might have to pay for. What are some strategies that people can do, like that keyword search, or tools that are cheap to better their websites or better their kind of overall campaigns?
To really dominate local search, it's important to have a Google My Business profile. So up, and then you can link that to your website. There's a click to call. You can even, I think, click to text message. So that's very important. And then with that, that's where you get your Google reviews, and that's very helpful to start moving you up in the local search results.
You say something interesting that I actually kind of believe in as well, but not a lot of people are talking about this yet. Instead, on your website, pushing people back to your social accounts. You actually think that those social accounts, those icons, or the links to those accounts should be limited or maybe not even there at all. Why do you think that's a good idea?
So social media drive traffic to your site. It's more likely that people will convert into a lead if they're coming from social to your website. So by having those icons right on your website homepage, call or turn into a lead. So we want to avoid that platform right there to, social media.
What do you think a website's goal, I guess, what do you think our website's goal should be? And how do you address that if your kind of client doesn't believe that that's what the goal should be? So like, what if someone was like, what if they want their website to improve their social media or something like that? Like, where would you kind of push back on that?
So that's ideas when they come to us about what their website should do. But my intention of the website is to use it as a tool for our overall digital marketing strategy. So we have email, we have the website. So the website is just another tool to generate leads, and people that are just, we want the company online, but they're not focused or prominent or having a lead form prominent, then you're missing out on.
Headlines are so important. I believe that you could have an amazing product, an amazing business, an amazing message for people to hear, but if no one ever gets off of that headline because the headline was terrible and no one saw it, you're going to lose. So what are some strategies that you think are good to put together a compelling and, I guess, clickable or convertible headline?
It's really got to tie into what your target audience is searching. If I followed a Facebook page that is just posting random stuff, there's no reason for me to click. But if the content itself is engaging and related to something that I care about, then I'm going to click through.
So you used a word there, engaging. Engaging, I think, is that the metric to track on some of this stuff? Like if you have a really popular blog post, so some of those FAQs that you were talking about, you turn those into blog posts. I think that's a great strategy. But what if there's never any engagement on it, but you have really high analytics? How do you know how well it's, how do you know if the engagement is actually good or if that's not the right metric to track?
Around the word engaged, when I successful social media post, that it got 1,000 likes, but if none of those people converted into leads, then it didn't do its job. The intention of a social media post is to get someone to, for most social media posts, would be to get someone to click from Facebook and come to your website where they can get additional information about your company, read all of your other blogs, and then give you. It's great to mix in some of these funny and entertaining posts into your social media stream, but if you're providing valuable content, then getting likes or comments isn't as valuable as getting clicks to the website to read the actual article.
It's interesting because I wonder if people do that, right? I wonder if people are actually creating content, creating campaigns, creating posts on social media to then drive traffic to their website, because I don't know. I don't think everyone does. And so what's kind of a content calendar or strategy that someone could implement that would allow them to get that social media presence up, but then over to a website?
Well, if your social media strategy has been to just post random posts with a tagline and pictures, and you start by implementing it, like every 10 you implement a great article that and then you start to beef that up, then people will continue to be engaged, but with your valuable content that they start to read, and then articles on your site, then they'll read all of them.
Knowing that a lot of these sites are dependent on algorithms and people are trying to, hack the system, what are some ways that should people buy into that? Like, is social media really should businesses get involved with social media? Are we starting to see from a business perspective the demise of social media because of stuff like this?
Everyone is on Facebook, so I prefer to use Facebook when it comes to social media advertising. It's been hard to grow social media presence organically. To retarget people that have come to our website before, and that has proved to be very successful. So we put a tracking code on the site, they've come, showed an interest in, they'll see an ad for web design, and we capture that information if they weren't far enough in their bios when they got to our site.
What's up, everyone? It is Zack Miller Live, episode 9. We're here with Jake Mains of Hooray Digital. He is the digital marketing manager there. We're getting a marketing 101 breakdown. I had a brain fart there. I talked for 4 hours yesterday, Jake, so I'm allowed to have brain farts every once in a while. What's your favorite social media platform?
My favorite social media platform is Facebook. And like I was just saying, is you have the ability to these people on your website and retarget them. Provide them valuable content. LinkedIn. I find that I have 15,000 followers on my LinkedIn, and I'm always posting engaged stuff. So yeah, give me a follow. But
you have 15,000 LinkedIn followers? How did that happen?
I've connected with a lot of people, and a lot of people have connected with me. So, a lot of regular engagement on there. So it's been good though.
So you're telling me that you have engaged with a total of 15,000 people on LinkedIn manually?
No, some of it's been automation, but yeah, definitely some automation there.
All right. Well, what's the hack?
There's a few different tools out there. LinkedIn Helper. Some people would say that's ridiculous and crazy, but it's paid off. It provides us leads, and I have a ton of engaged followers, content regularly.
How do you then take those 15,000 followers and then convert them into actual customers?
That's where content comes into play. We're regularly creating that content, share other people's content on my LinkedIn or Facebook, and then kind of a mix of those both. And if you get them back to your site and they like what they're reading, then they can eventually turn into a lead.
If someone is watching and you guys have questions, all you have to do is ask in the comments below. Jake or myself will answer them because that's what we're here to do. We're here to answer your questions. Also, we're going to have a full episode of the 1004 show with Jake coming soon. He will be episode 98 of the 1004 show. We got a doozy for episode 100. I'm not telling you who it is yet, but it's someone that I'm excited about. Who do you think it is, Jake?
I have no idea.
Who would you want it to be? Who are you watching? I can't interview myself, Jake. Come on.
You're right. Yeah, that's who I was thinking. You're just gonna do yourself there, but.
Someone said that I should do a solo for 100, but I'm telling you, I didn't. I am going to do my first solo for the podcast and just the audio version because we need to tell our podcast guest about the Kickstarter, and for some reason I forgot to do that, so I do need to do that.
Yeah, well, tell me a little bit more about the Kickstarter. What's going on with that?
Absolutely, I will. Stanley, the 1004 Show. That's our kind of video podcast series. It's an amazing, amazing, amazing show. So the Kickstarter. So I guess it's a two-part story. So as I was reflecting, I actually just talked to my publisher today. So this is kind of the story I said. So we were having some of our we were having some of our meetings just about kind of the book and where next steps and stuff like that. And so they were like, well, how did this whole thing come together? And I was like, well, I was looking back at a series of the things that I've been doing over and over, and the series of questions that we kept getting. And I realized that it was basically the same question over and over again, just a little different way. And that we had been providing workshops and webinars and email responses and direct messages and meetups and whatever, probably, hundreds of times to tens of thousands of people. And so we have this track record of helping these people, but there wasn't a centralized place or a deep dive on the content in kind of written form. And so I told Dave Ritt, that's my creative director, I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Let's think about writing a book. What do you think about it? And he was like, yeah, that's cool. You should. That's awesome. Let's put it together, whatever. And I was like, yeah, cool. Let's think about that. So decided we have one-word names that we like to do. So Dave he's a big fan of this word of the day thing. And one of the words had been anomaly. And so that's what we decided to call the book. It's called Anomaly, How to Finally Stand Out from the Crowd. And I basically, and I'll tell the story a little later because it's a good story. But then we signed a deal with the publishing house, a New York City publishing house, and I decided that I wanted to start telling people now about it. And I said, can I do a Kickstarter to get people excited about it and to offer some super deals that we won't be able to offer at a later time? So there's a course associated with it that's like 75% off now, or 75% off if you grab it during the Kickstarter. So if you grab the Kickstarter now, it's $250 for the course, but if you buy it after the Kickstarter, it'll be $1,000. There's some speaking gigs and bulk book buys. If you guys haven't done any of these things yet, you should do all of them. Buy every single one. No, but the Kickstarter is just an opportunity for my following and the people that are looking for the best deals and early access to get that. And I think it's a cool little thing. It's been a fun little. I've done some small Kickstarters before. We've helped a lot of people with their Kickstarters, but it's definitely been an interesting ride so far. Day one, we're 15% funded. We want to win tonight, though. We got to get 100% funded tonight. So all of you guys that are watching that haven't done it yet, I need you guys to head on over and do it.
Yeah, I've got to get on. I'll pitch in right after this.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about. So what's something about you that most people don't know?
I don't. Next week to the Dominican, so potentially scuba diving there, which should be fun.
Very cool. When you see a website that is cringeworthy or it isn't easy to kind of manage, what do you do?
I pick up the phone and I call the number that I see, and I've actually done that a few times. When I'm on a site that I'm trying to make a purchase on, I'll reach out and say, hey, this is how that's affecting their business.
Mobile. Sorry, I was on mute. Mobile is such a big thing now. I think like over 75% of traffic is on cell phones. Look, I'm even watching myself on my own cell phone. So that's great.
How many viewers do we have right now?
Well, only 3. I don't know what's going on. Did you share it?
I did share it.
This has been my good time.
Middle of the day. So
this has been a good time for us, though. So I don't know. Maybe it's you. No, I'm kidding.
That's tough.
I know it is tough. Forget what I was saying. Oh, mobile is so important.
Right.
If someone is still not thinking with a mobile strategy, I mean, that's a tough thing.
Yeah, so actually, one of our developers, Bruce, he coined the phrase yesterday, desktop responsive. So we build with mobile first in mind, and in the past it was, is your website? Well, now mobile phones, and we want to make sure that the website is responsive on desktops.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you said 75% that's why. On the desktop.
Yeah, I think that's true. So knowing that people are second and now third and sometimes fourth screening content or fourth screening something else. So that means they're on their laptop doing their work. Then they are listening to a podcast or on Spotify or something like that on, I don't know, a second screen of theirs or second device. And then they're texting someone at the same time. Like, how do you stand out from that? How do you get someone to actually look up from that?
The content's got to be good. And, I mean, more people are engaging with video, so we're starting to lean towards video. Yeah, and then, like you said, the podcast, I'd prefer sometimes to listen to somebody talk something and learn something new that way versus having to read an article. So you really have to follow those trends.
So do you think it's like a do as many things as possible? So do video, audio, and blog? Do one of them?
You should repurpose that content. So if you write it into an article, or an ebook, you can break that ebook down into a few articles, break the articles down into a few short videos, into podcasts. So that content should be repurposed so that your viewers can, I guess, digest it any way that they want.
So are you saying that, let's use this video as an example. So we've been shooting now for 30 minutes and then 30 minutes before this for the podcast. So are you saying that I should then take this video and then cut it up into smaller blog posts or something like that, and that's how you could repurpose? Or
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this video is long, so if the video that we've talked about that we didn't hit on hard enough, and we can turn them into blog posts, and yeah, that would be awesome.
If you don't know what kind of content to produce, what do you do?
I use Google AdWords Keyword Planner, so I can put in a few different keyword phrases that I've already used, and maybe suggestions and then take those and see if them and an article is new that we haven't done a ton of research on before, like the optimizing for voice search. Kevin just read, and we hadn't done too much more about it, so he turned it into a blog post.
Is that like an Alexa post or a HomePod, something like that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're on your home screen of you can the voice button and say, how much does a website cost? And for that typically people are searching for longer tail keywords with voice than they would if I was searching for that same thing. I might say website, but you want to optimize for longer. You're optimizing for voice search.
What does that mean? So when I search online, I search a couple of short words, what you're saying, but then when I'm searching via this Alexa or HomePod or whatever those things are, that I'm probably searching it in a complete sentence?
Yeah, typically that's what, based on what I've read from his article and what he was telling me that his research said was that you're going to be coming across longer tail keywords because people are saying more when they're searching with their voice versus typing something in.
Interesting.
So, yeah, the trends are, yeah, definitely interesting.
So when you're creating content, I think content is important, right? Create content, get it out there. Get it. I think it's like the internet is like compound interest that we learned about growing up, where if you invest today, it'll be bigger tomorrow. Well, the same thing with the internet, right? If you don't start creating content today, guess what? Someone else is, and it's going to go, and they're going to scale, and you're not going to. So knowing that content is important, like, how do you actually be seen though? So you guys created all this content, you're following all these keywords, but how do you get it in people's inboxes? How do you get on their actual feeds? How do you, show up where you want them to show up?
So, social media, you engage with other people that are, if someone's engaging with a competitor of yours or similar brands, you can engage with their followers. You're following, share that content with them, use your email list that you have and get it right in their inbox. You can take that email list and to Facebook and then send that article right to their Facebook feed through some Facebook advertising. So there's a lot of ways that you can get it out there, and there's a lot of competition. So yeah, you can to articles out there.
You guys are watching Zack Miller Live, episode number 9. We're about to lose the hands because it's going to get difficult. Well, I guess I could do 11 and 10, and, well, you get my point. So I like to, this is my comedy hour. This is where I get to try to become a comedian, where my wife says I have zero chance. And my main goal in life is to be a comedian. I'm kidding. See, look how funny that was. Ha, 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 ha. Look, that sympathy laugh. That's what I always get. Thanks. It sucks. I am just not funny. Stanley Sparrow says, with my business, what's the best content I should be creating? So, Stanley, tell us a little bit more about your business. I do know a little bit about it. So, Stanley has a bow tie retail business that has, I believe, an Etsy or a Shopify website. What type of content do you think that he should be creating, Jake?
Stanley, I would create a video showing people how to tie a bow tie. That would be the best piece of content. Tying a bow tie is, I'm good at it, but we went out this weekend with a few coworkers and no one knew how to tie a bow tie, so I had to help them out. But if you can optimize that video on YouTube, YouTube is a search engine just like Google, so if you can optimize that video and show up for people that are learning to tie a bow tie and have a link to your site, then they're more likely to buy a bow tie from you than they would from anyone else.
Interesting. So I think oftentimes, and I've had a couple of Stan's an avid viewer of Zack Miller Live, definitely appreciates Stanley, and we've been able to have a couple of conversations one-on-one and offline as well. And, oftentimes I think people who are more of an expert than someone else, which just means that if you know one thing more than someone else, you are viewed as an expert more than someone else, and I don't think people always comprehend that concept. But the dummy's guide style, where you're just providing people how to do something, is so important. And so I remember in college, I was dating a girl, and I had to go to some stupid sorority party with her or something. This is not the girl that I married. And because I couldn't marry like a sorority girl, that'd be terrible. I'm kidding. All jokes aside, was that joke better?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. No. So So I had to learn how to tie a tie for this like formal thing. I literally went to howtotieatie.com, right? And that's how I learned how to tie a tie. And that story is so silly, but it's exactly what you just said. So something that I searched for like 14 years ago was relevant then, and I was able to fix it. So imagine if you can answer that question, how many people you can help. Like just having this opportunity, this Facebook Live, for people to ask questions about from me or from you. Like, think about that. Like, if these are what the questions that people have are. Like, what content do I produce? And your answer was to show people how to tie a tie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so
I hope
simple.
Create that video. That's good stuff.
I hope you don't sign off, Stanley. I hope you watch the whole thing.
Watch the whole thing and sign off.
This is like the greatest, most compelling content ever. Pam Smith says, what if you're not good with videos? I've done blogs, recipes, pictures of food, etc., but can't seem to get the referrals I want. Is there an alternative to making a video? Is that really the way I have to go? She has a culinary business where she makes meals for like weddings or offices, like catering and stuff like that.
So yeah, I mean, photos are a reason that, I mean, she doesn't want to create the. Well, videos are nice.
She said that she's not good with the video. So whether that meaning she's uncomfortable doing the videos or something like that, it's just doesn't seem like video is her forte.
So yeah, I mean, we started doing video for our bi-weekly reports, and I was very uncomfortable being behind the video or in front of the camera. But yeah, after you get used to it, and it doesn't need to be a perfect video, but then they will continue to engage with you and find you as an expert. But if that wasn't good, then yeah, keep up with the picture.
It could also be video without you in front of it, Pam.
Right.
So think about, I could be doing, if I wanted to, a behind-the-scenes look of where we are right now, right? Or this is how I'm putting together these recipes or whatever I'm doing. And I think oftentimes people think about the process of what you're doing. Think about the process that you do every day that no one else sees, and how you can start documenting that process. Not showing your secret sauce or anything like that, if you're worried about doing that, but like showing people that you're human and that it just doesn't happen. The food just doesn't happen. You could be doing. I was talking to a guy today that I just interviewed for the show. His name is Jared Jacobs, and I saw a video of his on Twitter, and it was really cool. And he does stop motion animation. I don't know if you've ever seen this stuff, Jake, but it's basically. Do you know what stop motion animation is?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't really know what it was either, but so it's a series of usually 30-second videos that are something moving very, very slowly to make it look like it's an actual video. So think like a digital version using images of like a flip book where something would move. And so this guy, Jared Jacobs, he's the, founder of Gold Yeller TV. I don't know if he would call himself a founder, but Gold Yeller TV. And it recreates, using stop motion animation, like a series of like popular sporting events using like, what do they call them? These minifigures or Legos. And so it's like this Lego that basically is moving just a little, but it makes it look like it's real life in a way. And it's really cool stuff. And so he didn't necessarily want to be on camera, I guess, but had the talent to do that and was able to recreate that way. And so sometimes I think it's about just doing something creatively, and it doesn't even have to be with you in front of the camera or not. Stanley says that's exactly how he learned how to tie a tie. I mean, think about that. I mean, go shoot that video today, pin it to the top of all of your social stuff. Make sure that all of your this is actually a section in the book we call maximizing profiles, where as long as you are pushing out your content and taking people to the link of like the number one thing that you do, it's going to be amazing. And so if on your Facebook feed, if on your Twitter feed, your LinkedIn feed, your Etsy page, whatever, their profile there has like your most compelling content and your best content, that's the thing that's going to be seen the most. And I think that's really important for that to be there. Stanley says, is editing video all that important in the beginning? What do you think, Jake?
No, absolutely not. We could shoot it on your cell phone and just. Yeah.
I don't think it ever matters. Ever. If your content sucks, it sucks. content's amazing, it doesn't matter. One of the most popular, and it might actually be the number one most popular video, is Simon Sinek's TEDx talk. And if you've ever watched that, it's 18 minutes of trashy video. But it is the content inside that is important, that people love. I mean, there's mic issues in it. There's literally a mic exchange. Have you ever seen this one, Jake?
No.
So it's Simon Sinek. He's a guy who does Know Your Why is his whole thing. And it's actually a pretty cool concept. You should definitely check it out. But what's interesting is that he... the video is garbage. The video is not a very well-produced video, but it's got like 20 million views on YouTube. And so if the content is strong, whatever it looks like doesn't matter. Now, I'm not saying that if you have the ability to have better-looking content that you shouldn't, but like nothing has to be perfect and nothing ever will be perfect. So what are some things that you guys produce, Jake, that you just get out raw and dirty?
Well, we're an agency. People that are writing the content and then people that are editing the content. So there isn't much that it's out raw and dirty because we're basically they're portraying ourselves as them. So you want to make sure that you're their brand in the best light. But yeah, I mean, if you put together a blog post and it I know I wasn't great at writing when I first came here, so by practicing and we get that stuff out there. But if it's good content and you know what doesn't matter if it's perfect.
Yeah.
So.
And you also can learn what people are looking for too through the comments, whether or not you add to that post, if it's a written post, whether it's tweaking the video at a later time. I mean, the key is, Stanley, Jake and I both want you to do this today. You have got to pull out your phone and shoot this video today and post it on your wall, on your business page, on your social pages.
I will share it for you.
There you have it. Jake will do it for you. Jake is the digital marketing manager over at Array Digital. He's going to be on episode 98 of the 1004 show. If you guys haven't checked that out, it's the greatest podcast ever. Appreciate you guys being with us today. If you guys have questions for myself or Jake, please let me know. Jake, what's something that you think is the future of marketing that maybe not all people are talking about?
Well, yeah, we've talked about voice, and that hasn't been talked about a lot. I think you all should check out that article from our chief marketing officer, and we'll post that link. But optimizing people that are typing things into Google search, but saying it is important. The easiest way to find what they're looking for.
So something like that. I personally don't think this stuff is going to last. I don't think that Alexa and these HomePods are going to last. I think they're a fad. How does a business or a personality or a brand work through risk like this, right? They don't know that this thing is going to be there, and I'm on the fence about it. I probably shouldn't be on the fence about it, right? I should probably be excited about these things. But when you don't necessarily believe that something is more than a fad, maybe that's cryptocurrency too. How do you as a brand that could win that kind of topic leverage it and do content around it when you don't necessarily believe in it?
Well, I don't necessarily believe in the Echo Dot. I have one, but I know that it's not necessarily these type things. It's using your phone. You have the Google search bar, and then you can click to have it capture your voice. That seems to be taking off. And there's some stats in the article that Kevin wrote that really dig deeper into what percentage. But if you're seeing stats like that then there's a reason people are getting on board. So
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So you're not necessarily
Yeah.
talking about the HomePod or anything like that. You're
Yeah,
talking about
exactly.
I'm on my phone, and instead of writing it down, I just basically clicked the dictation piece of it, and it gives me
Exactly.
that. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Yep.
So I would believe in that too. But the HomePod stuff, where there's a lot of content around that now, I don't believe that stuff is anything more than a fad.
I don't know if it's going to take off or not. Uh, I'm sure people love it, but it hasn't taken off for me. I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah, it just it seems a little odd. Jake, I appreciate your time. I appreciate everyone
Yeah.
being with us today. We're going to wrap things up. If you guys are interested in what Jake said, you guys can check him out and Array Digital at thisisarray.com. And Jake, be sure afterwards to post all of the links that we talked about in the comments so people can see this. And I appreciate your time, and we will see all of you guys tomorrow. Jake, thank you, man.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. See you later. Have a wonderful day. Peace.